Hey y'all, how are you doing? So I have my overnight highs here, my overnight lows here, so it was pretty easy to find today. Um, Now here, a couple people were asking me about this on the site. Um, what I said was when I posted my chart, I I had mentioned that I liked this as a failure to fade, a second attempt to fade failure basically, and then followed by this reversal pattern. So we have this range here, the overnight range, and then a breakout. We have one attempt, and then a second attempt to fade, and then it failed. Now, it did break lower here. So this swing, it did break lower. So it's not like we get a breakout of the range and then like a two-legged move attempt. So like first attempt, break, second attempt to fade, failure. It wasn't like that. It triggered lower. But when you get a two attempts to fade in the form of a one two-legged move, that's common, but that's not always how it's going to be. Sometimes they're going to break lower because, the two attempts to fade doesn't have to be one two-legged move. Like, it can tick lower because the two attempts to fade the range is separate from the two attempts in a two-legged move. So they're not the same. And clearly there's just one attempt there. You don't get two attempts. You just get one attempt to fade, a second attempt to fade there, and then it failed. And I was just taking this as a failure to fade, a second attempt failure to fade, followed by this reversal pattern. And so that's why I liked it. When you get two attempts to fade for something, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to, be a two-legged move. It can trigger lower. The only time that whenever it moves lower than the previous swing, all that means is you can't use it as a two-legged move anymore. So like you can't go first entry short, second entry short. But for this range here, it is first attempt to fade, second attempt to fade. That is different, because it's like a magnet. Just like the EMA is a magnet, this is a magnet. It's going to attract prices to it. It's going to attract it to it, push out lower, and then attract it back. So I really did look at it as the second attempt to fade, followed by this reversal pattern right here. First entry long, second entry long, failure. And clearly you can view this part here, like this congestion. You get this little breakout and then this pullback right there on the entry. So I like that. You could see it as a first leg down, break, second leg down of equal length. And that's right basically at the trend line. And so this trend line, you would want to get out. You wouldn't want to try to push it out of this trend line here. That'd be risky. But anyway, so let me just delete these. But yeah, so that's just something to remember. And then we push lower. So yeah, second attempt to fade, followed by a rush below the EMA. We hold. We have this one push down here. We get second push down, equal length. We end up, as soon as we get out, we go into this congestion. Now, with this right here, you can really see this as like a first entry long, second entry long failure. And it also is a second entry short. Looking back, it actually does look pretty good, to be honest, but I would want room to get out. So if I were to enter this and if I were to deem it good in real time, then I would want a limit order. But I kind of just missed this. I wasn't paying close enough attention. And it's not the clearest trade. I'm sure y'all get what I'm saying. But I just wasn't paying close enough attention. But anyway. So we go into this downtrend. We have this two-legged break. And when I posted my chart, it was right here. It was like right here, basically. I had this downtrend drawn, and I was expecting price could make this two-legged move to the key entry point, which I thought would have been perfect for a short, because it would have been like, we have this measured move, we have this move down, break, we're expecting it to reach the measured move, we haven't quite reached it, and we get a two-legged break. From this push down, I was thinking we could play it short term just to try to reach to the measured move. But it never happened. And I was so tempting to go short right here, unbelievably tempting. But I didn't because I always get so worried when entering directly into the lows, and then it was kind of big, so I didn't take it. But I really wanted it to go up here. But either way, we push lower. We still don't reach the measured move, but then we kind of get a big second entry because you get this first entry short, second entry short. But really, the way I viewed it, and the reason I went 1-to-1, which if I went for more than that, it looks like I would have been stopped out. And yeah, barely stopped out. But I went 1-to-1. And the reason I like 1-to-1 on this is because clearly you have uptrend, break, new high, but it's only one leg. Like you can see it's two legs there. First leg, second leg, but I mean, like we know if you've been watching this channel long enough, I don't, I trade big picture, so that's gonna turn into one leg. Like really, that just looks like one leg, and then it clearly tries to make a second leg, and so that combined, it's not just that, it's a combination of a few things that I did not go for a big target. One is that it's probably just one leg. Two is that this did not hold. It did break. It's basically holding, but it didn't hold completely, so clearly there is some bullish stuff going on. And then also the undershoot, we didn't even reach over here, so we didn't reach the other side. That's a sign of bears giving up. This downtrend here, which it is a second leg, but it exhausted before reaching the measured move. Like it pushed down, had this break. It's like another mini two-legged move, kind of like how you get this two-legged move here for that first leg. For the second leg, it makes another two-legged move, but it doesn't even reach the measured move. So that's another sign of bulls coming in. We didn't reach the lows of the downtrend, and then we couldn't even hold properly. It's like I'm definitely not going to go for 6 points on that. I'm just going to go for the 3. And not to mention I got in with a limit order, and I would have been fine, it looks like, if I entered a little bit later. But, there's just reasons why. I mean, in my opinion, if you're just getting into it, and this is just my opinion, I think getting used to going 1-to-1 at first would probably be a stepping stone for going 1-to-2. Because when you transition from scalping, like if you're a scalper and you transition from scalping to going for 1-to-2 swing trades, it is going to be horrible on your brain. It's gonna just, it's gonna be pretty hard to go for massive targets and hold and avoid taking profit. But 1-to-1 is like minimum, absolute minimum. Like I would never ever close a trade for less than 1-to-1. I have before. One time when I was being emotional, I took a trade a little bit early. That was one single time, and I forgot what video it's in, but it's there. But yeah, 1-to-1 is absolutely minimum. You have to have good risk to reward. You can't go less than 1-to-1. I mean, I'm not saying you can't, but in my opinion, it's a terrible idea. And no, I'm not trying to knock scalpers. I mean, there's people who can scalp like crazy, and that's amazing. But my personality, my personal opinion, I am not a fan of scalping, and I do find this more fitting to my personality. Anyway, let's just keep going through this. We get that second leg that I was talking about, and that's where the big move happened. We have the 1-to-1 trade here, and then the 1-to-2 trade here. Obviously, it gets a lot more, but you're not going to go for 1-to 10 or whatever. So, but yeah, as soon as it gets that second big leg, just like I was saying, you get that two-legged move forms that one leg. You get another two-legged move that forms the second leg, and that's when it plummets here. So, just thought I would point that out. But yeah, and then you break out, you get the small breakout pullback. I don't really think that's good enough to take. If you got a failed second entry and then you had completely had room to this swing low right here, then of course I would want to take that. But it's just a lower high breakout pullback with like no room to the low. I would be scared of that, to be honest. So, but yeah, I can draw some more of this stuff. I stopped around 1, and then I went out to eat, and now I'm back. But yeah, so it looks like we went into this downtrend. We have a break, first entry short, second entry short, but that's really just one leg. That's a first entry in my opinion. in my opinion, that's just a first entry, and it's completely blocked as wide as you draw it, so I would avoid it. Lower high with a horrible signal bar buying directly into the lows. That looks terrible to me. We push lower. We have this first entry short, second entry short, but it's like, once again, you're buying directly into the low, and it's like, yeah, I mean, the downtrend here, even if you look at it as short term as possible, you just had this move coming from the downtrend, and then you have a break, couple small legs down, and even if you just consider that one leg, which I consider that one leg right here, so downtrend break, first attempt lower, break, it's like, I'm not sure about entering on a second attempt lower there. That just seems like shorting extremely low, and I would be very worried about that. It's like I would want a deep pullback like that, you know, or that, because it's like pullback and then just a lower high, but there's still so much more room down to the low that this is just like shorting the absolute low, basically. So I don't like that. I really don't. But you know, we can start looking at some bigger stuff. We go into this range at the bottom here. We break out, pull back, very small, and then we get a bigger one. So you can look at this two-legged move makes that one leg before the two-legged pullback. So just like I was saying, two-legged moves will often end up becoming one leg. You can very clearly see that here. Or it's not very clear, but I can point it out to you. We have that leg, break, second leg. That's really just one leg. So we have that, because the reason I say it's one leg is because it's the end of the move. And so, which will, you know, so first entry short, second entry short, that's the end of that up move. And then you get first entry long, second entry long. So that's the end of that down move. And it's really just one leg up, one leg down, and then that launches this next uptrend here. But yeah, you just got to see the price action on levels, and, you know, like, for example, like we have downtrend break, you know, we have a break of the downtrend with this very small uptrend, and then that uptrend gets a break and new high. And so you can see it as that, or you can just see it as downtrend break, and then you wait for the two legs and you don't consider taking anything, and then that's just one leg break, and then you could get a second leg. And that second leg, if that were to be successful, it would likely come in the form of two legs up. So yeah, you just got to see the levels. It will make your life so much easier. And then we go into this uptrend here, break, new high, really nothing to take. It doesn't confirm the channel. It confirms off the highs. It's absolutely valid. I mean, we have so many touches, but yeah, it didn't hold it for a third time. I wouldn't want to just take this long. It's extremely down. And I know I was just saying I don't want to short the very low. Why not buy? But you are still in a downtrend. I would just want to wait for a pullback, a correction, and find a good short right there. But yeah, once we touched the EMA here, or not the EMA, the trend line here, and then got this bearish bar, like, it's tempting, but there's just no room. And so, like, if this had closed way up here, and assuming it was good with all this, it'd be good off the body part, the close. If we could get it to just barely close below with room, I would be much more tempted to take that, just to write it down to the key entry point. But yeah, that's really it for this video. I'm gonna draw one more thing here. I just want to see how this ends up doing. So yeah, there's two legs. I mean, just like I was saying, first leg, break, second leg eventually turns into one leg, break, two legs, and then that second leg there. So first leg, second leg, first leg is two legs, the second leg is two legs, and then it has an extra third leg, basically, and then a break, and then it becomes even bigger. After that, this becomes one leg. Put it over there. That's also one leg, even though you can see first entry short, second entry short. It's more, it's clearer. This leg is a lot clearer than this leg. It's definitely, it's a very small second entry there. It's many entries here. So, but yeah, got to see the price action and levels. So that's going to be it for the video. Hope it was helpful. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.